Welcome back to Design Machines. This is episode 5 on the show where I design out in the open and we just discuss things like how to design better, how to play in Illustrator, but also what the intersection is between design and other topics like music, politics, life, therapy, whatever else pops up as we're working through here. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap as we get started. If this is your first time watching the show, just be warned, it's a little raw. We go random, we go down tangents. It's an educational thing. We try to have fun, though, along the way. And more than anything, it's kind of a way for myself to kind of get out there and out of my comfort zone, push my design skills in the open, and so you guys can learn with me, because I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, professionally almost 20 years, and I am far from done learning. I love this stuff, and I just want to share in this fun experience. Anyway, let's hop into it. Let's do a little recap of what we did last time. We got cut short last time, by the way, because... let me see here. Just let me switch screens here so you can see what's happening. Okay, so last time we were working on our IDLES poster, and just about when I wanted to get another half hour of work on this, but my audio cut out out of nowhere. I'm using Streamlabs desktop. I don't know what's going on. Streamlabs, if you're watching, this can't happen, right? It's a bummer. So when I tried to reconnect audio, I tried a few things, restarted the app, and the whole stream went kaput. So here we are again. We're going to continue from the same spot. I'm not going to jump ahead without you. We're going to do this. We're in this together. I got a deadline coming up for June 22nd is the party with which these have to be printed and presented and everything. So time is coming up. We got just a little more than a month away. I'm also going to be doing some traveling. So we're going to have maybe a week or two here where it's off, or we maybe have to change the day a little bit. But we got a lot of work ahead of us. So let's get down to it. I can't do these half-hour recaps. So today, I'll just do a quick one. Or I'll try. I'm learning design. I'm learning streaming all at once. You get to see the raw energy of progress, hopefully. So last time we were on here, we had a nice session working on this IDLES poster, which is for our first place winner, Phil, who he won our music league this year. If you're following along, I'm designing these posters for this little fun game we play where me and 29 of my good friends, we create a playlist based around a theme, and then the second half of the week we listen to this playlist and vote on our favorite songs. And so with the votes, points get tallied, and at the end of it all we end up with some winners. And so here are our standings from the season, this is my fourth time doing it. We're going to have a big awards ceremony where I can present the winners with a nice poster that has lyrics of one of the songs that they submitted. So this week we've been working on Phil's. We did a little work on Chris's poster, which is for the song, what is the song called? Namesake by Noname. It's an amazing little political song. So we got pretty far in a poster design there. It's by no means done, but we're going to come back to it later. This is to a stage where I think it's ready for maybe some second round refining, but I want to get all my posters up to this first round of refining first. This is just how I like working sometimes with this. I want these to feel like a series and then kind of progress them together. So last week we kind of started. We have this IDLES song for Phil called Mr. Motivator. If you're not familiar with IDLES, check them out. They are, I don't know if you'd call, I think they don't classify themselves as, they're punk. They're kind of like this punk, modern, sort of hardcore, but not that hardcore band out of the UK. They got a lot of great albums. Phil submitted 2 of their songs. We're going to pick Mr. Motivator, which is very lyrically expressive, we'll say. So we picked this line here out of it, like Kathleen Hanna with bear claws grabbing Trump by the pussy. And this is our line that we're going to make a nice graphic designed poster of. So in episode 3, we did some image sourcing, finding, some images that kind of represented maybe Kathleen Hanna, who, of course, the singer of Bikini Kill and La Tigra, and have some nice, like, riot, and like a pioneer of the Riot Girl movement in the 90s. So we gathered up some nice old... I am just going to get some chats going here so I can keep an eye on what's happening here on my screen. So if you can't hear me, let me know. I've had audio issues on here before. Like I said, this is an experiment, so tell me if you can't hear me or anything like that. But otherwise, I'm going to keep going. So, yes, let me tie up some screens here. Oof. This is the raw, rough deal that you guys get to see all the time. So, we found some Kathleen Hanna Riot Girl imagery. A lot of collage, hand-drawn type, just some rough edges. We found some bear claws, both literally and donutly, some pastries of course, the bear claw, which, I talk about in episode 3 a little bit. And then Trump and Kathleen Hanna herself. Trump, I don't think we need him. Kathleen Hanna, look at this guy. Who wants to mess up their aesthetic with this? So we have some visual references, and maybe we don't even need visual references. We got the words and some other metaphor that'll work with it. And we got some Kathleen Hanna here, looking at especially her style, her colors, kind of her vibe. We want to combine the Riot Girl, Kathleen Hanna aesthetic and vibe, and kind of place it somehow with IDLES, they're punk, but it's an all male band. So we want to make sure that, we're not totally appropriating this style and, making them look like this completely, but we want to have a nod to it. And we want to also, I just want to tie it to my own style of graphic design on top of it. I just don't want to ape all of these things. I want to use these as inspiration. So we talk a little bit about that in episode 3 and 4. And then last week we started out just roughly drawing some bear claws in here, just as an idea. My friend Luke, he suggested having some cheese balls in the bear claw. We explored that a little bit. We played with type, trying to maybe mimic like a studded wristband, or studded bracelet. Is it a wristband or a bracelet? What is what? I don't know. So we played with that imagery a little bit. None of these are even close to final. The bear claw's ugly, but it's also, it might be in the realm of where we want to go. This sort of references that cutout collage style a little bit, so I don't completely hate it. I don't want to make a picture perfect bear claw here, but this is just, we're just illustrating loose ideas, and this might actually be somewhere close to kind of our finished product. Maybe sometimes you get lucky. I kind of doubt it, but I like where it's going, or I did last week anyway. And so we were also playing by the end, when I was kind of getting near the end of the stream before my audio cut out. We were just looking at the IDLES band and the song title typography. And so we went through some fonts. We went through a few type foundries that I really like. I got cut out before I got to talk about one of my favorite type sources, which I'm going to go into kind of before we get started in here, because that's the font we're using in here. It comes from that. But yeah, so I think let's just kind of take it from here, and we're going to, let's get started. Let's get back into this design. That's pretty good. A 10-minute intro and recap. That's better than my half-hour one last week. So let's get this going. We got a lot of work to do. So I am just going to make sure the stream is actually working. Yes, it is. Okay, good. Alrighty. So, as we get into our poster design, we started off with this font, which is from, I believe I always forget the name of fonts, but I'm pretty sure this is Nickel. Oh, I'm using the type thing here. Yes, Nickel Gothic from David Jonathan Ross. Now, this is a nice, chunky, this one is the sans serif, and there's also, if I'm not mistaken, the serif version here, just called Nickel, which has a color font, a color version, which I will get into in a minute here. But Nickel, it's a great face. I haven't gotten to use it on a project yet, so I'm really excited to try it here. It might not be the final one we do, but it's one I want to explore. So I'm just going to shrink that down for a minute. Actually, I'm going to close it. And I want to talk a little bit about where I got this, because this is like a little side tip. We talked about foundries I talk about fonts and foundries a lot in this show. But I wanted to highlight this one especially. This is the Font of the Month Club. So this costs like, I don't know, like $70-$80 a year or something, or 98 Canadian. It's auto converting for me. So I mean, David, he releases a font every single month. I've been a part of this since, I think, the beginning, which was pretty close. I think maybe I signed up in June 2017. I think Roslindale was the first. You may have seen this font everywhere. This is where it comes from. Like, so we're talking not just like someone's run-of-the-mill, crappy DeFont fonts or something. These are like David Jonathan Ross, a incredible font type designer. Every month is a total treat. And sometimes it's not a finished thing. Sometimes it's just one weight. Sometimes it's a full family. So you got display fonts, text fonts. Like, it's amazing. So much. And a lot of experiments, like color fonts. So they actually come with colors or layers, things like that built into it. So you can have like some really fun, crazy effects and so much expression. Like, I don't know if you know how much work goes into creating just one typeface. Some people take years, teams of people for years on certain fonts. And here we got this coming out every month. I don't know if you got any helpers, David Jonathan Ross, but damn. The output is incredible regardless. So just released this job Clarendon text. Like, it's a revival of that's done just incredibly well. I just if you are a designer, even if you're like playing with design, if you're a student, cobble together that oh, look at this. He's even got a discounted membership for $2 a month for students, people without full-time. Oh my God, this is incredible. So please or using even just an unfavorable currency to the like, what a gift this is. Like, I just get this. You're gonna have 3 years. No, not 3 years. Jesus, 7 years of amazing fonts every month. So I mean, you have a pretty powerful type palette just starting here. You got like a full. You could do a lot with this library. So we're gonna take advantage of this and use it in our IDLES poster. Maybe. Like I said, we don't know which one we're gonna do. Like I said, I got dozens and dozens of fonts from DJR, so we might find another one if this one doesn't work. I'm sure we'll use it someplace. So here we go. I'm gonna let's go bold with this, right? So we've got IDLES, we got a nickel gothic. We can sit here and try and size up, throw some numbers in here. When it's a title like this, I like to pop in, just make sure the spacing and everything looks pretty good. I think for this one I want to tighten up just a little bit of space in this D and this L. So we're jumping into some kerning already. I don't normally do this at this stage. In fact, you know what? We aren't going to do this at this stage. I was going to say let's make it into outlines and blow it up. We can still do that and just kern the old-fashioned. It's not even an old-fashioned way, but we're going to do it. We're going to show you how to kern with outlined text instead of using the kerning function in there. So we're just going to create some outlines here. I'm going to throw on my guides, my little 1-inch by 1-inch grid that I kind of use on all these posters. And we're just gonna slap that baby right across. You can also do this numerically. I actually prefer to do that just so we know we are getting exact numbers here. So I'll pop that in the transform panel, and here we go. We can align that in the middle if we want to get extra. You can also do that through the positioning area here, but I recommend sticking to those numerals, getting nice fat whole numbers. Okay, let's just see how this looks. Good God, that looks awesome on. We don't even have any other element. I don't know if this is going to be black. I don't know if we're going to put the bear claw in here, but holy crap. Just that word in that font looks just bloody awesome. So, pardon me. Next time I'll try and meet for you guys here. We also just want to get our song title in here. So this one is, of course, Mr. Motivator. We're going to get that locked in, give it a color, white, just again so we could see it. Yeah, I guess it's another way you could resize type on here. I didn't have to put it into outlines. Illustrator's got sort of 2 modes for text. So if you just click on the thing, which is what I did here, you have, oh God, I can't remember what this version is, what this is called, but there's 2 sort of type text boxes we have here. Oh no, okay, there's Illustrator thinking. Area type versus, which makes it a box, so if we were to resize it, it just does this. But we don't want area type, we want point type. That's the one. So here we go. We can resize that a little more freely. And that I should have done that up there, but you know what? We're not going to worry too much about it because we can always create it if we need it. Where is our nickel? We don't want version 2. So that's the one thing too. With we get different versions of fonts in with the DJR Font of the Month Club sometimes, because sometimes you're not getting the final thing, but it's okay. He will get there and often give you that final one eventually. So it's a work in progress, kind of like I'm doing here. that's one of the things I love about that too. Let's support seeing our messy, dirty things, because that's how we learn. That's how we can see that we're all human. Takes a lot of work to get where we need to be in our designs, in our design work, in our careers, all that. See, this is kind of I used Nickel Gothic version 2. See, I wasn't paying attention to what even version I'm using, so I'm actually gonna deactivate this one. And let's find our version 3. We got the condensed, the regular, extra. Let's do this whole thing so we can actually play. Are you seeing this full thing? Even a variable, the variable fonts in here. Oh my god. Let's actually do a demonstration of variable fonts while we're looking. So I talked a little bit about this. In fact, let's scrap this and redo this properly. So I've talked a little bit about variable fonts here just as a mention, but I think this is a time to kind of show what we can do with them. So I'm just going to blow this kind of up and get it roughly to where we need to. Just center it on this. Oh, I don't want to squash the type. Let's go here. So in standard traditional fonts, like if we find our Nickel Gothic, we get often all of these different styles. Now, Nickel is a little special in where it's got like one weight to, oh no, it doesn't. It's one weight, but it's different widths, which is actually super handy, especially in poster design where you maybe have a very constrained area and you want to play with the width, but maybe not the height so much, or vice versa. You can mix and match line weights, and there's all kinds of fun tricks we can have. So anyway, we have like these very sort of coarse versions. We got like compressed, condensed. Let's take another font here. That's, let's take Neue Haas Grotesque, and it's got Roman but thin. If you're not super up on your design lingo and everything, this is a lot like if you're in a Google Doc or a Word doc or something, when the font is regular versus bold versus italic. Each of those is a whole different set of letters. And so in most fonts, they have separate, or most typefaces. Now remember, typeface is like the entire family. So it's like Neue Haas Grotesque is the family, but then we have each of these little variations, and each of these are actually the fonts themselves. So the font is sort of a subset of a larger typeface. So when we have a typeface, like might be Arial you're working with, or Roboto or something like that, you might have Roboto regular or bold or italic. Those are all separate sets of letters. And so that's in this case too. So we've got all these variations. This is a particularly big one with a lot of different weights, which is flexible. But we don't just we have this kind of new newish development in type design. It's actually been around for a lot of years. God, I don't know. It was probably being developed for 20 years. I don't know. But anyway, it's only worked well in design apps like Illustrator. Figma's has got it adopted, and it's pretty good in there. There's problems with it sometimes. And then on the web, just in the last few years. Now, on the web, there's a lot of advantages that I won't get into for file savings and stuff like that. But here, just in print, we're going to go over the basics. So I'm going to just blow that up a little bit. The nice thing about variable is we get this extra little button. And so what that does is, instead of like these set fonts in our typeface, we have just a couple of sliders. And some variable fonts, which I'll try another one to show you, allows us to just go on a full spectrum. So every little weight or width or slant in between can be adjusted exactly to our preference. And so in this one in particular, there's two axes that we can play with, and that is the width, so the width of each letter. And you'll see, like, if you look at like the D here, the little holy in there, my font terms are all off. It's not the counter. The counter is whatever. Don't pay attention to that. Look at the whole thing. That's the important, the little donut hole. It actually shrinks and grows vertically even with the width. So these take a lot of programming just to make sure it's not just a simple, it's different than if I took this one, say, and just stretched it. Because, like, if we stretch something like this, in fact, I'm going to compare it on the same thing. We look at Nickel, where are you? I know I can search for this, which is what I'm going to do. Where are you? Oh, my God. You know what? I can't find it quickly enough. Does it even have search in this? Tell me in chat. Nickel Gothic. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this so we don't lose our text there. I don't like retyping if I don't have to. Okay. So we got our two fonts here. They look similar. I'm going to reset these to, I actually don't know what the standard is, but I'm going to take off some guides for a second. So let's go to an extreme here. Let's shrink this width down to around 45 here. If we simply squish a standard font, and this is with all normal fonts, into here, we get these issues. See, you'll notice like our donut hole looks completely different. In this one, it's like nice and consistent. The corners are still perfectly rounded. It looks balanced. The S, everything looks like if you just open this up, you wouldn't think that the width has been changed. It looks like it was made that way. This one, however, it's kind of a wild mess. Like, we look at this D here. It's got a curve to it, which is much more noticeable at this size here. This rounded corner is like a little bit. It's not really clean. It's kind of not the smoothest corner. The L, of course, is okay, but even then, you'll notice like the width here. Like if let's take a square. The width. Let's change the color. Now, this isn't always the same anyway, but you just see the width is far different than the height of like this L. So even though it kind of looks normal and good, like this I is okay because there's really only two dimensions we're dealing with here. This one, well, I guess this is, yeah, whatever. Even in an L, which is pretty straightforward, you get these changes where you look up here, it's actually the opposite, where the stem here, there's the vertical part is, see, I got to brush up on my, it's been a while since I looked any of this up. This is just kind of back of brain stuff that it sits there after a while. But this is going to be a proper educational program one day. We're going to get this all your terms ready. But you'll notice the proportions of this are all opposite now. They've gone opposite. And then this S, this is like the biggest egregious thing. I like demonstrating this concept with this font because there are so many like very geometric parts that are easy to see the difference on. So you see this consistent, straight, parallel lines everywhere, very clean, round corners. Everything looks very tight and precise. This one is a wild mess here now. Look at this. Look at these corners. Oh my God, it's like, it looks kind of like chopped out of a magazine or something there. Like someone cut it with scissors. This is kind kind of ugly, globby counter in here is kind of, it doesn't work. It looks like it's been cut off at the top. It looks almost like these subtle indentations here. It just doesn't feel right. Like it's not the same. So variable lets us effectively squish type, but do it in a way so it just looks awesome at all widths. So this is a great application for this type of thing, because we can do things like, here, let me throw on my guides here. We can get this roughly into place how we want it, and we can we can get this attached to our grid in both dimensions, where a standard font we might have to, kind of roughly get it and then play with spacing a bunch to make it fit both the vertical grid and the horizontal grid. But with this, we can get the height where we want it and then just simply tweak that down to the perfect width. And I mean, we're not playing with spacing here or anything else like that, but still, we're pretty good. It won't take much to adjust this thing. We got our extremes. And so we can do the same with Mr. Motivator. I'm going to change this to all caps. And the way we do that is in our little character palette. Boom. Mr. Motivator. So for this, again, let's do the same thing. Let's make this a little smaller, but try and get this like 1 inch. I'm not going to be too precise here. Let's try and get this 1 inch height. Oh. And knock that down a little. And again, I'm not actually still, I don't have a variable font here, so we're just going to switch that to the variable version. And yeah, boom, get that roughly where we need it. And again, we can do other things. We can, make sure we're grabbing the right word, slide that over, and oh yeah, it's pretty great. So I don't know yet about like this spacing doesn't really work for me yet. I think I want to move that up. It should feel like a bit of a unit, and this could be kind of a good place to start. IDLES, it's a nice short fat word. They blow it up in their concerts here like crazy. This on its own kind of looks sweet, in my opinion. I think like having something bold and just, it almost looks like a protest poster or something like that. So, Riot Girl in itself being a very political movement. We got the lyrics being a very political song, is a very political poster. So it kind of fits. And so there's things we could do. Like we can just even take this thing. I'm just going to copy our illustration from last time. Just give it a little Command C, plop that on there. And now, I wanted to step away from that concept for a little bit, but this is kind of like a nice way to sort of just see it with some graphics in there. Oh yeah, we played with layers last time, so we can't forget that, just so we could hide things and stuff. So I'm going to move this type up into our illustration layer too. So we get that up here, switch to that layer. Oh, here's an accident that could be kind of interesting. It's just, it pasted it right down lower in the poster. Sometimes you got to take these accidents and run with them, because now, I don't think it works for this one, but you can do something like this where the claw is actually like attacking the idol's word. Wow. Okay. This ain't it, because we got our letters here, but this is, because I like this concept and where it's going, we're actually going to set this aside. It's like a little Oh, don't delete it. A little bookmark here. So we're going to put it right by our other ones here just to, set it aside. But let's go with our original idea here. Stick with it. And then we're going to plop that back up into place. Find that proper key combo. And just kind of, I'm not, we're just, again, trying to be loose and fast here. Just get this thing moving into the right direction here. And let's see, pop that off with the things. See, damn. This font, to me, has a really nice quality to it. I'm not sure if it's not quite the Riot Girl thing I was expecting to go in. But I dig it for IDLES itself. It's got like that, just that chunk, and with the content of the song, like the feel of like, I don't know, just the energy of it feels kind of nice and solid with it. I don't know if it works with our stuff down here. Oh, I remember where we were going with this too. We were actually going to try this nickel gothic as the did I even go there last time? Let's see. No, we didn't. As the studs on the wristband. So that kind of works. And in fact, because it's variable, we can get exactly the right width that we want to make them look nice and square. So another good use of variable fonts. But like, this is nice. This works for studs well because it's kind of got that rounded square look. Oh my goodness. So in case we should get a little visual reference here. Let's go studded wristband. So here we go. It's so hardcore. Ooh. This is kind of maybe too much of a 90s, early aughts kind of thing. But oh, so cool, man. Let's see. It's kind of like an iconic punk accessory. I don't really know if a lot of Riot Girls really wore this or not. But you can see there these kind of squares. They look a little bit slightly rounded. Sometimes they're bunched up together. But I can't believe you can buy these punk. You want one? Go on Etsy, and it's only $15 Canadian, which is like, I don't know, $10 American or something like that. Supports Patricia S. Heaven Costumes. Okay, I don't know if this is an independent person or what, but I don't know. I'm not gonna. Yeah. So, anyway. We want this, it doesn't have to look exactly like studs, but I want to give that feel like it is because, we want it to look like it's a wristband. It's our Kathleen Hanna bear claw. So, and I think Kathleen Hanna, it needs to be like pink or even bright green, maybe with some pink, but she rocks the pink pretty hard. So I love that. And it looks good together. So let's see. I'm going to also save this poster because I don't think this is quite the concept I want to fully explore yet with the banner. I also want to try something with like just playing with some of the other concepts here of, again, this sort of collage look of, like there's typewriters, look a little bit copy, like a photocopier made this. So we're gonna explore this in just a few different ways here. So the first thing that's coming to mind is to maybe make this look a little bit, give it a little, I don't want to go too skeuomorphic and make it kind of like, but let's just give it the vibe of a punk rock zine or poster here a little bit. And so, one place that I'm always inspired by in this realm is the Black Flag posters. There's a great documentary about this stuff. See if I can find it. Let's see, Black Flag. The Art of Punk, Black Flag. So, God, if you're into graphic design and art and music, this thing is so good.
Astonishingly talented artist.
You
Yes.
have this person.
And
We got some
those
Henry
pushing
Rollins.
against-
Anyway, let's see if I can find some stuff like, I don't even know the guy's name, but he's one of the band members, I believe, designed these. And God, like, so we've got, it's like a lot of this crazy cartoon stuff. Some of the stuff doesn't age well, and there's some pretty disturbing images in a few of these, I think, if I remember correctly. But like, just this wicked use of type. I don't even know if this guy was a trained graphic designer or anything. Like, it just looks so cool, though. But they talk about this art, and it's very inspiring. It's a cool aesthetic that I think, again, it's not something I want to necessarily use to represent it from Riot Girl, but like there is like a cool, how do we like bring some of that raw like look into it? And so it's very like this cream like color, just because like it's like aged paper or whatever. So we're gonna like play with this a little bit, play with this concept. So I'm gonna like tweak these colors. One of the things I always do, this is again an OCD thing that I like, is to just try and sit on some just whole numbers for the CMYK for printing. Just to try, and you don't have to. Printers these days, you can do any kind of middle number. It doesn't matter. But for me, it's like a grid system for color. So yeah, we have like this sort of cream color here, little bit of yellow, a little bit of magenta in there, and poster. So we can also, one of the things I like about these is the use of kind of typewriter fonts. And so we don't have to use the standard, like everyone knows probably I don't even know if I have it installed here, but my brain is escaping me on, no, I don't want to use Monaco. It's kind of a coding font. Is it just called typewriter? Oh, here we go. I don't know. But anyway, let's use our trusty font browser here. See if I got just anything. We're going to use a category. We're going to use a monospaced thing. I'm going to clear our thing and just see what comes up. There should be, we got OCR. This is, I believe, designed for like checks, and it was like an early way to read fonts on like electronically. I think, I don't remember quite the exact history of that. Do I only have 41 fonts that are monospaced? So monospaced meaning every letter is the exact same width. In most fonts, you have, let's see, let's look at, oh, I got to take off monospaces. Let's look at, you have like varying spaces between letters, because an I is a thinner letter than say a U. The space it takes up is much thinner. A monospace, which is often used, is like typewriters use it, code editors use it. It just means that every letter is on a specific fixed width column of text. So it is a way to, it's just a lot was a technical constraint, but if you're coding, you also kind of sometimes want consistent columns of fonts, just so it's easier to tab through things and line up different lines of code easier. So there's a real functional version for it, but we can kind of co-opt that for some design purposes. We got IBM Plex. This could work. This is like the Plex. IBM Plex is a free font you can get on Google Fonts or wherever. You can download it, but let's try it. Let's try some of these weights here, because just to see what it looks like in a typewriter like font. It's not, let's see, let's go Plex mono. I want to go, it's very rare that it's in all caps with this kind of thing, so we're gonna take off our all caps. I'm gonna color this so we can actually see it. And we're just gonna play with some of these sort of basic parameters, some line height differences. Oh, gonna select that. No, I'm sure, like, sorry to all you screaming at me for probably better ways to adjust these settings and all that, but let's see. This is just my process. So this is some weird ass spacing in here, and I don't know if that's because, oh, that's probably because we just pulled from our from our wristband, which had some weird spacing in it to get it to fit in that box. So here we go. It's kind of not a bad look. It kind of has a nice contrast with the title. Often when pairing a couple of fonts, it's nice to just go for things that are totally different, and especially when they're used differently. Aesthetically, it's kind of okay, but it definitely needs some illustration. We knew that, but it's I think it's got to be smaller. It's just not enough text to really justify this sort of thing. It looks more like a caption here. Like, I'm already trying to envision it with some like, we could take something like this and we can, I don't know, let's just make a little collage here quickly, just to, like, I'm gonna take an existing image. I'm not even gonna source a proper one, but we're gonna outline this here just with the quick Bezier tool. Get that sort of outlined, and then close that up. And what we're gonna do, we've got the shape above, we got our image below. I'm gonna select both of these and make what's called a clipping mask. And what that does is it's gonna kind of crop that photo underneath to the pattern I just made. So, AKA, it looks a little bit like one of our collages. And now we can, again, this is, so here's the thing. We're printing this. We got to take resolution into account here. If we just print this, even at this standard size it came on, we're going to get these weird pixelated things. So if we actually are sourcing some images that we want to use for this poster, we're going to want to get something of higher resolution. Something that is gonna otherwise, like something, so, you know, these little pixels, these are going to come out when we print them. So we don't want those visible. So they have to be, that means we have to find more of these pixels per square inch. DPI, my friends, dots per square inch. So this is, you know, old kind of graphic design term. It's kind of gotten lost on the web, but FPO, for position only. It's basically just, this is a placeholder just to know if our design's going to work. So we would have to do this a lot, but when we were, and people still do, when you're sourcing like stock photography, when people actually paid for stock photos and stuff, you would get like a sample and you place it in there just to test your designs before having to commit, at the time, like back when I started, maybe hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, to use just a single photo. So we're in the lap of luxury now where you can just, you know, get it for free or a low cost for like $10 or something, for better or for worse. We're not going to get into the politics of that right now, though we could. That's what this show is for, but I don't know. Let's just play with this here. Now, I never do this in Illustrators, but I'm pretty sure we can... how do we... I need some photo effects here. You're going to see me search Photoshop, or you're going to see me play with this stuff and struggle in real time. No, I don't want that. We want to stylize? No. Sketch. I do not think this is it. No. We do not want any of those. Ba-ba-ba-da. Where are we? What are we doing here? We are going to... You know what? I think if we actually double click on here, can we change... Do we have a layer effect thing? I'm not even going to edit this out because you need to see that even for people who have been doing this for 20 goddamn years, we run into things all the time where we do not remember how to do things. Is it transparency? Is this what we're doing? We got this? I might just have to do this on a... Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So we want to get these. So we got this luminosity thing here. Okay. So this, we got the kind of this monotone color. That's what we're looking for. Now we could actually play with this a little bit. And with our, I believe it's with our mask itself. If we go back to our layers, I'm going to pop this back into there. Going to mess with our thing a bit. And we go into our clip. I'm trying to find is our mask so that we can change the color of it. But again, I gotta play with this more. It's been a while since I've done like anything like this in Illustrator. So normally I do this in Photoshop, but and we can absolutely do a round trip and make it happen. But for this case, I'm not gonna worry about color. Let's just get it in here. You don't need to see me struggling. If we like this concept, I'll do a little research and homework and, you know, we'll come back to this. But here we go. We got some bear claws. Again, there's not a concept here that really is working yet, but I just wanted to see just what these look like. And you know what? Chances are we just want one claw anyway. We'll bring this down over here. May get a little more detailed with some of the cutouts. Does it give it a little more of a claw feel? Struggle is real, my friends. Okay. This looks kind of ridiculous. I don't like it. And a big part of it is the execution. I am flip it up to mimic what we had. It just doesn't. No, you know, it doesn't work for me. God, collage, but I don't know. Maybe I mean the point of a collage is to have multiple images. So let's take some. Let's do another one in here, just for fun. Let's make another little piece again. Oh, this one's gonna be green. Let's see what happens when I actually transform this into a mask and apply a color filter to it. So we're going along here, adding this little funky bodysuit. Honestly, I should probably use something more like a red tie would be like a good signifier of who this is. But we're just going to do this for now, just to test this out. Again, like everything, I don't want to strive too much for perfection here. And God, you can see this is far from it. And that's okay. So we are going to, where did our little palette go here? We messed up some of our appearance. Let's try some luminosity here. There's some other ones we could play with as well. It doesn't have to be luminosity. Screen, multiply. It doesn't seem to be having any effect here. But that's okay. So we can do a little, you know, I had a graphic design teacher. In fact, my first graphic design teacher taught me this thing years ago. Fun fact. When he said to never flip someone's face. Like if you have a photo, this is, again, kind of low resolution. This would never work in our final poster. But I don't know. Just going to bring this to the front. Looks horrible. Okay. When you have someone's face. Okay, I'm going to bring in I need a high resolution photo. Let's find someone. Okay, that's a better example. When you have this face, you recognize this person. And if we take this, let's bring it over. You might be tempted. Say you have a layout and you need it. You kind of want your subjects sort of facing the inside the pages. Sometimes so they're not veering out, looking off the page. Some people might be tempted to take this photo and just flip it. So if we reflect it to the vertical like that, just to flip it like that. But there's a funny thing that happens when you get used to seeing someone. The face looks different. It is this weird, uncanny valley where all of a sudden, I don't know if it's a thing in our brains or what, but this looks like a different person. It's subtle, but if you look here versus here, this clearly Donald Trump. This kind of, it looks like Donald Trump, but it's not Donald Trump. It's a very strange effect. God, I'm sorry to make you look at that mug. Let's look at someone with a much nicer mug. Kathleen Hanna. Let's try this again. Flip. Reflect again. Again, it's a subtle effect, but there's something very unsettling about what that person looks like. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. So you may not be super familiar with Kathleen Hanna. She's not the most famous face in the world. But like even just comparing these two, they kind of could be different people. And it's like the face width looks a little bit different to me, to my eyes, the mouth, the eyes, and they look fine, but it's again a different person. So be very careful when you're flipping horizontally people's faces. It's just this uncanny, unsettling thing. I don't know why it happens. You know, the funny thing is, we see ourselves wrong in the mirror. And I have a theory that when we have like selfies or people take photos of us, often we're self-conscious about how we look, or we're like, I don't look like that. It's kind of like hearing your own voice when it's recorded, but maybe a little more subtle. And I think that's part of the reason. You know, we all have maybe our own body dysmorphias and everything else, but I think also there is something legit about like the way people see us is different than how we actually ever are able to see ourselves. Which is fascinating to me because in our entire lives, nobody will ever see us the same way we see us. That's bonkers to me, unless we switch our video around or reverse photos, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's kind of messed up. Next time you're looking at yourself on video in Zoom or something like that, just flip it to non-mirrored mode and just see what you look like. I tell you, it is subtle, but just a little bit unsettling. It is so weird. So, yeah. Try it out. Okay. And don't flip your faces in your graphic design. Right on. So, we are going to move on here with another concept. So, I don't know. This collage thing, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not feeling it. It's just, I like where we were going with this sort of, there is something here, though, that's really interesting. If we go back to these concepts, our accidental one, I think, you know, I tend to default to this. Like, maybe this is because I'm a magazine guy. I went into this learning how to design magazines and editorial design. You had to put your title up on the top of the magazine so it stood out in a magazine rack. So this has become kind of a convention, and this is the case in a lot of posters too. But we don't have to put this on a magazine rack. And in fact, I like when we can use our fonts or our type in different places that are maybe a little less expected. It's not the most crazy placement, but I think I want to explore this because it's just a little more dynamic. And I want to still play with that bear claw. I'm still sort of feeling it. We're not done with you yet. So we're going to come back. But one thing, we might not have a perfect concept with our bracelet anymore either. So we're going to slide this roughly. Let's use our guides. That's what they're there for. Help make things move a little faster and easier. We're going to maybe play with that placement there. I want to bring this back into our nickel gothic for a moment. Oh, that didn't stick. Okay. Illustrator's being a goof again. Oh, God. Let's just select the text, see if that works any better. Yeah. Okay, of course. And move that back to all caps. Okay, and so we're back to one font again. I don't know if we'll stick with this. We're going to bring back our illustration just to play. Again, with something. I don't know if we want this to be our illustration, but it looks really cool. Kind of even this like look of, I'm just going to actually group these two faces because they're kind of driving me nuts here with placement. Okay, so like we can play with stuff here. We can we make this sort of like, it's starting to remind me of like maybe an old movie poster or something. Especially with this font down here, which is not exactly what I'm going for. But, you know, we have different colors here. Like, I like the black on white here. This bear claw. I'm just going to move this type out there. This is kind of interesting, too. It's like, it's a little simple. Like, we don't need with this hot pink color, we don't necessarily need even the wristband anymore, I think. So it's kind of, or we can even sort of imply it with, instead of the lyrics, with the words. It doesn't even have to be exact or anything, and we can, we don't have to have like a band behind it. Oh, I'm going to just, toy with this a little. I don't know, just interesting options. We could also, thanks to this being variable, play with like even, we're starting to get somewhere kind of cool here. Let's, I have to ungroup this. Oh no, there we go. That was a negative slant of 8. This is starting to look really interesting to me, where with a little bit of slant, my God, I love variable fonts. This is not even, I think, a usage I even considered using before. And we can cock it up to the side there a bit if we want. So it gives us like a much more dynamic feel here. It's not just straight text, right? We are actually like incorporating the type into the image a little more. Even just like little things, like adding a bit of a slant, tilting it. I like how it kind of, even though it's not like, it's not exactly this writing here, or the, none of these pieces, there's a quality to it that, just because it's a little bit distorted, where I think it kind of starts to lean a little bit of a nod to something that's been sort of photocopied or distorted on there. And thanks to the variable font, we can kind of do that without making the letters look kind of gross and distorted, even though a lot of these ones are. I still want to preserve like the qualities of the typeface in this. Because I don't know, I think it just makes that poster look a little more polished, and it's like this intentionally I don't know, not exact. Oops. Let's see. Gotta add a point here. Where is our? Okay, I'm gonna control point on. Hey, did that add on there? Add a point onto our path. Come on, Illustrator. What are you doing to me? Okay, people, what am I doing wrong here? Hey, I can cheat this with a... Hey. Is this an Illustrator bug or a Travis bug? Probably a Travis bug. You should add a point. Okay. Screw it. We'll come back to that. Okay. Again, concept. So, okay. let's say the wristband is that, but maybe our actual type is what the bear is clawing. So we could sit here, we could use the same font, we can use nickel, but I feel like it needs to be something a little bit different. What are some, one, we can find something that complements it, but two, like, here's another thing we can do. The nice thing about type is, like, we have this, like last time, like Luke brought up using orange cheese balls to kind of like get this Trump by the pussy imagery here. It's the clearly Trump grabbing his nuts. I think we should maybe think about, like, we could do, okay, so this comes into a masculine feminine thing a little bit. So gender is a funny thing. I think it's a construct. It's anybody can be any gender. In fact, it'd be great. Maybe we don't even need gender at all, but we have it. It's a way to express our identities. With someone like Trump, who is like this super ignorant person, I feel like the thing he would be least, like, that would be really offensive to him. He likes, Trump supporters, they make all these illustrations of him all muscle bound and everything. Like, I don't know if you've seen any Frank Garrison cartoons, but they're fucking atrocious. But, they do, like, I don't know, there's this, like, yeah, like, they make them this muscle bound, this idiot, or Ben Garrison, not Frank. Ugh, whatever. Let's not give him any more press. But anyway, this guy, he's a big muscle man, masculine, big tough. I think the Nickel Gothic is kind of more like this. It's like this burly sort of font. You could use this as a bodybuilding thing, but I think that's the exact opposite we want to go. So I want to find something that's a little more that Trump would be maybe too ashamed about or embarrassed by, and maybe something that fits more like Kathleen Hanna's style. Like, no, it wouldn't be, because it's a bear grabbing it. So let's think about our fonts here. What type of, can we use a font that is kind of represents Trump's pussy? So, like, this is where it gets complex. So, like, we're talking about one of the strongest and mightiest, most beautiful body parts known to man. Babies pass through it. It is like humans come out of this. It is strong and mighty. It is way mightier than a set of balls. So, but in that fact, Nickel Gothic would be strong. That could be a good representation, maybe, of a real woman, but or a person with a vagina. But look at me ramble on about this stuff. Okay, sorry, I'm blushing. I don't want this. Whatever. We're gonna keep going here. Watch me fumble through my thoughts about human anatomy. So I don't want to do a weak font, because Trump's genitals would be weak specifically. That's what I'm going for. But I want something to look good, but still what is representative of Trump himself. And you know what comes up is his stupid damn hat. Oh God. In episode 1, Brad joked about doing a mega poster, and who knew this is where we were actually going? God, This is my search history. So we got this. This might be too subtle, but I believe this is like just Times New Roman in all caps. Hit me up if you know, if you care to. Who cares? Honestly, I don't give a shit what this guy's thing is. I'm gonna just try out Times New Roman. We're gonna bold it up. Oh, disgusting. We're gonna tighten this up into thing. Now, there's a couple nice things about this, besides being the Trump hat fucking font. It kind of, you know, this is something that Kathleen's badass bear claw is grabbing. So we're gonna switch this to our point type so we can distort this a little bit and move it around. So this kind of does lend itself to that zine poster thing a little bit. It looks like that font. And we're going to co-op Trump's shitty ass hate fueled brand. And we're going to kind of co-opt it and make it kind of ugly here. So we got some Times New Roman. Should we use mega red on it? No, it doesn't quite land, does it? What if we take the poster color, though? We're going to have to play around with that bear claw, but make this white. And here we go. We actually do get this weird thing. So if we could go white, which, you know, it's pretty striking. It's kind of like this crazy looking. I'm going to center this text because I think, you know, again, like the hat looks a little bit weird left aligned. I'm not a big centered type kind of guy. I try to go left aligned most places, and I think that just comes from maybe my editorial design past a little bit. It drives me nuts seeing it everywhere on the web, but you know, sometimes you can't avoid it. So, okay. There's some things I like about this. Number one, the red and the white type. This really delivers that, like, Make America Great Again thing. Combined on that red background. To me. It looks... Whoa. What did I do there? I just filled this thing with lorem ipsum. Which, you know what? I don't know about for this poster. Oh my god, I still have some blocks from my other one, but this is sort of a badass look. This is a total flub, but okay. We're gonna hold on to this because, you know, happy mistakes. Damn. That's cool. Okay. Let's get rid of that. I can't even undo it because I wanted to save that. But let's pull in a new background here. Drag it into place. I'm going to give it maybe that proper red color because I'm not done exploring this. It's not going to be a full magenta. That's a little too pink, but we're going to add a little more. It's almost like perfect, like 100% magenta and yellow in there. So we're getting close to that omega color. I'm really... Okay. We're getting somewhere kind of interesting with how this color, like, it's just black, white, and red. I kind of dig it. It's like I am going to once again save a copy of this because although I don't think it's there, we are getting into some, like, it's almost like a Saul Bassy kind of feel a little bit. Oops. Silly. grabbed that one. Oh, we'll leave it there. It's okay. It's like, if y'all don't know Saul Bass, I'm going to keep this here because I find it easier to reference later when I'm actually doing up the links for the description. But let's look up title. Let's go. So he was a graphic designer. Many of you should know him if you're a graphic designer, and if you don't, he's this designer who he did a lot of great identities and graphic design work in probably the 70s and 60s. He had a pretty long career. But he also was known for not only doing movie titles, but I think he also made a movie. But he did a whole, like, this guy, just an amazing, influential person in the design world. So he's done movie posters. Okay, so look at this. He himself almost has like the zine-like quality where it's like a lot of like jaggedy pieces here, like fonts that are kind of cut out and a little like off kilter, some collage. Damn, Saul Bass, kind of the original like zine maker, like this hand-drawn type. Damn. Okay, this is getting me excited because this is sort of maybe the kind of like look we're going for. We can get into these sort of Saul Bassy kind of directions. He also made movies. Which I know I've seen one of these too. Anyway, doesn't matter. But check him out. Look up his stuff. There's a lot of great, important kind of graphic design work in there. So I'm starting to kind of get that feel from some of this. So there's one area here that I want to play with, and that is when this whole thing is red. I don't know. There's almost, for sure, our bear. We really have to nail this bear claw outline, and I think, I don't know. I kind of want to sit with this. It needs tweaking. It needs some it needs some work for sure. And I was thinking maybe like, we play with blocks of color. So I'm just going to paste a second version of this here and then make this maybe not white, but I'll do black for now. But it would be a different color. But just sort of like adding different shapes in here. This doesn't have to be a square, but like, how does this look as, so it's not red overwhelming the poster, so it actually looks like this claw is just grabbing something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love this. Maybe it's a different shape. Let's try a different shape. Oh my goodness. Man, Illustrator is buggy as hell today. Nothing is working. I know this is a bug. Jeez. Or maybe that was just... There we go. Yeah. Where are we going? Okay, there we go. Maybe, again, it might just be more user error. So we could go a circle. And we're kind of, like, moving into some, again, interesting directions here. If we want to change the color of this poster so it doesn't meld right, so that type stands out a little more, we can do that. I don't think gray, but if we want to maybe go, we want to do a complementary color to red, we might do like a pale green here, something like that. It's kind of like, just to really make that pop, or a yellow. Yeah, it's kind of okay. I don't know. Ooh, blue. Or even just a lighter shade of red. Okay. It's... again, I don't really love this. We're starting... it's making it look a little less like a claw. Let's take this. Move it to the side. The other thing I like about... ooh. Okay, I just had a thought. I'm going to go back to this red color here for the background. Go 100% magenta. I'm going to go 100% yellow. Get back to that bright red. I'm going to, you know, Phil, my friend Phil, I love him. And it's no secret, well, maybe he's kind of a commie. And you know what? So am I. So we're going to like go full on kind of maybe Soviet here and try and bring in a little bit of, make this look like a bit more of a propaganda poster here, and bring in some of these like, and some of these colors, I think this is maybe a little closer to like that gold color. Bring that magenta down to 25%, so it's a little more, it's got a little more orange in it. And this is kind of, again, I'm gonna jack the brightness up just a little bit. Maybe let's get this to, what does 20% look like? Maybe 15. And this is looking a little bit interesting here. I'm kind of digging this. Okay, we might have something here. So here, I gotta change this. Okay, so Phil, one of the things I love about Phil is he spells his name like this. F-I-L, and not just F-I-L. I've seen it where he spells it with a capital L, which it doesn't say much, but it says a lot. It says a lot about him. He's an unconventional guy. He is, I've spoken about him before in other episodes. Go see episode 1, and he is one of the most punk rock people that I know. He is the genuine article. He has got a son who plays in hardcore bands, and he is, and he goes to them. He'll go on tour with them. He's the guy in the back. He's not even just like sitting back like a proud dad. He is in there with the hardcore band shirt, by the mosh pit, like getting in on it. I love Phil. He is like a true awesome dad, and yeah. So anyway, I want him to be proud of this poster. So here we go. I am really liking this. This is we are going to play with this cutout a little bit, and we're kind of veering a little from our initial Riot Girl idea. But I think, you know, having just the nod of the cutout here, which we're going to refine, we are in a good position. Somehow I lost my little Glopum logo here. I'm going to bring this back up. And let's center this in the right spot. I believe it goes there. those lined up? Not quite. I'm going to bring this there. Bring that there. Close enough. And okay. We'll tighten that up a little later. Wow. Okay. So this is looking good. I think this is ready for our refinement stage. So good stuff. Did a little catch up from last week. I still see my audio thing going up, so that's going well. Oh, hey Brian, my friend Brian Eisen, also a Music League member in there, says looks good. Thank you, my friend. Glad you like it. Yeah, good to see you. I can't wait to meet up with you when I'm back in Vancouver in June. Okay. So, I'm going to clear this out. Make way for our next poster. We're not going to get started on the design today because, you know, we're already at 90 minutes. I'm not going to get too far. But I do want to get us prepared for next time. So this is our pal Kevin Quinlan. He came in second place this season. So we have a few options for Kevin. We are going to look at a few songs. First of all, let's just check out his let's see. We can't even get in there. Okay. We're going to check out some of the rounds or whatever that he submitted for. So I made a playlist of just every song that he's made over the season, and that is in here. So we've got these are the top 4 that I picked. I got this Ain't That Peculiar. So I'm not going to play these full songs because YouTube's going to do its copyright stuff. And so just to give you a flavor, we got this like fun, sweet kind of like Ain't That Peculiar song. They don't have the lyrics for it in Spotify yet. So we're going to have to genius it if that's the one. We got Rolling People, which is the one I'm leaning to. This is for the round RIP, so bands that you will never, you're sad you'll never get to see because they're defunct, someone's dead in the band, something like that. And so it's also got some good lyrics in here. I think this is my front runner, but I want to also visit City and Color, Canadian artist, also singer of Alexis on Fire, which is very different from City and Color, which is more folky. Alexis on Fire, of course, a little more hardcore and punky. See, I can't believe that Spotify doesn't have the lyrics to, like, especially a singer-songwriter band like this is crazy. So we'll look ingenious at those. He's got good lyrical content. I just know that. Damn, Spotify. Kevin has picked songs that Spotify does just not have lyrics for today. So this is a good one. It's kind of a funky. He pointed this out in our future hits from 2023 list. So this was near the end of 2023. We had a playlist where we tried to pick a current song that came out this year that we think will be a hit in 20 years from now. And so this is the one he chose. So obviously, again, a song that he really loves. He thinks this is going to be a good one. I don't think Kevin has put a lot of comments on songs that he's loved. I could be wrong. Let's just check a few of his other round submissions here. So damn, Music League did a redesign recently, a little design tweak on some of this, and I gotta say I'm not loving it. Sorry, Music League, but I don't know. Something about this, the weird borders around stuff. Like, there's more clarity, which, like, they pull out the quotes a little bit better. But I don't know. Something about this aesthetic of the borders, just not jiving for me. To each their own. It's not saying that's a bad design. This is not, doesn't appeal to my aesthetic sensibilities. Which, who cares? Who cares? Okay, so KQ. He came in 17th on this run, which is not great. But this Japan Droid song, I love this. This would have been up there for me. Especially because, closing out the season with a criminally underrated best band ever out of Vancouver. It includes Soul Decision. Even in here, so close to making the cut. I liked it. But the thing is, I already did a Japan Droid song for my friend Matt Tanner in season 1. So I don't want to do a second Japan Droid song. It's just a me constraint I'm putting on this. So that one ain't gonna work. See, here's the thing with the Verve. Again, I don't know that his song did great this round, which sometimes it's another factor I like to bring in is like, is this a song that the crowd liked? To me, it's not a big factor though either. Like, I think like this one, 21st, almost like in the last, only 5 people voted for it. But, and there's no comment, so I don't know what it actually meant to him, but just being in this playlist, the act you always wanted to see but sadly never will, tells me it's kind of an influential song to him. So that's another helpful factor that I like to go. Here's this Future Classics. There's an easier way to do this too. In fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring up my little, I hope there is no, here, I'm just going to do this off screen so I hide any confidential information. Oh my God. There we go. Yeah, I love y'all, but you can't see everything I got in my work. Okay. Where is my Music League? I'll be right back here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Got my nerdy spreadsheet of everything in GLOAPM, Global League of Amateur Musicologists, Professional Amateur Musicologists. God damn, why did I make that name so long? I didn't think I'd ever be saying it out loud, maybe. Okay, so I want submissions. I want specifically, no, I want, do I want comment rounds? Is this what we're going for? Winners, comments, votes. Phil, okay, standings. Okay, so here are all of Phil's songs. So, nope, not Phil. KQ. Here we go. Unfortunately, our Music League data only brings out the Spotify track and not the actual title, so I have to guess a little bit. But you can kind of look at what he did comment on. So thankfully, Kevin does comment, which is not the case for everybody. If you're going to win this league, you better comment, because I'm going to base my poster, your prize, on what you say. So, winning time, wanted to go bench press or track. So, this is a song from the show Winning Time, which you should all see. It's hilarious. I'm not a sports fan. I barely know the difference between a foul line and an end zone. I don't know. But anyway, this show is amazing on HBO, I think, maybe, or one of those premium networks. It's kind of aged to look like it's from the 70s, which I don't know if you know me, and nostalgia for nostalgia's sake is a little, but in this case, I go with it. It works. Sometimes I find when it's superficially like fake aged, like in the case of Stranger Things, it's like this picture of what the 80s was. I grew up in the 80s. It didn't actually look like Stranger Things. I'm sorry. It looks like 80s movies, maybe a little bit, but it's like this fake nostalgia that we maybe wish it was or maybe want to reproduce now. Anyway, I'm not going to get too into that. We gotta find a song here. My dance routine acting out the chorus makes this song even better. I don't know. Twofers. Oh, okay, so let's look at twofers, maybe see what that is. But it's also not like, it's not so compelling a comment that I think this is meaningful. Who knows? Would you rub me down with some burning hot oils? I don't know. That is an image in its own right in the Let's Get It On sexy playlist. Maybe we got to do a sexy poster. I don't know. Closest thing to Sharon Jones, R.I.P. That could also be in the R.I.P. Although this is a band like it. Oh, that is our future classic song that he picked. So that's cool. Famous computer. Oh. There is a visual idea. Only recently figured out this song was about the famous computer versus human chess match and not just colors. So historical events. Let's take a look at this playlist here and see what song this is. Because there is some real cool poster imagery that just instantly pops into my head with that. Chessboards, things like that. So if we go to historical events, we see the results. Let's find our boy, KQ. Kev Dog. Arcade Fire. That is one of the finalists. So, Deep Blue by Arcade Fire. Of course, referring to the Deep Blue computer. Is that right? Let's look these lyrics up. Okay. And I'm going to play it in here. Deep Blue. Oh yeah, I love this song. It's a good one. I haven't listened to a lot of it, Arcade Fire, in recent years. I've always been a little meh on them here and there. I think they got some really good albums, some good songs that I like. They're a big deal in Canada, at least. I think it's deserved, but it's just not always my thing. But I think this song is really good. I like it. Here in my place and time, here in my own skin, I can finally begin. Let the century pass me by. So, Gary Kasparov's first match with Deep Blue took place in '96, near the end of the 20th century. And this unsuccessful rematch in '97, Will Butler, of course, the singer, paints the end of the century as a time of uncertainty and change. I love when Genius has some good annotations because it just does some of the legwork of interpretation for us. This is not to say it's a replacement. You should analyze songs for yourself and take your own meaning from them, because sometimes meaning from media is not always what the artist intended, but it's still significant. And I think that's why a lot of directors are cagey about even revealing the meanings of their movies when they're a little more ambiguous or artistic, because they know it doesn't matter what it means to them. What matters is what it means to you as an observer and as a consumer. So I think, do that too. But also it's good sometimes to have these objective sort of interpretations to kind of just help us out. So, we've got some really, from just a purely graphical perspective, we watched, like, we have like these interesting visuals of like chessboards and Deep Blue, the computer. I'm thinking like some crazy electronic neon chessboard could be really fun. Damn. Okay. We're not going to get time. I got to wrap this up soon. But I'm going to start just like, I'm going to move these lyrics over here. I'm going to, because this is a candidate, this is a strong candidate. This jumped up from what I was thinking I would do. Who wouldn't want an Arcade Fire poster? I tell you. I would even want one, even if I'm not the biggest fan in the world. But, like, damn, the name's dope. Great lyrics. Oh, man. I can tell sometimes when a concept of a song just starts sparking visuals, and sometimes you just got to go with that. Okay, I'm going to even make myself just some notes here. I don't care that that's in that thing. I'm going to go like I said, neon chess board. Cyberpunk. You know, I don't know what this probably only will make sense to me, but I know that is a concept that I might go down next time. And we might look at some of these other lyrics. There's some really cool ones, like Dead Star collapsing, like the formation of a black hole is pretty cool. But, oh, this refers to the annual ball drop. Okay. Damn, we got some New Year's stuff, the modernization, like it's a bit of a Luddite thing here, which this could be an opportunity to talk about the Luddites, which, you know, usually the term Luddite is, if you're familiar with it, is used to refer to people who are like just against technology at all costs. But it's not actually true. The Luddites were, they're a community of people who, they were workers, and they worked in cotton and made fabric. And when some advancements with cotton loom technology came in, they specifically resisted that technological investment because they could foresee that it was going to destroy their own personal lives and their jobs in their society. And so it's an interesting story, and it did actually, the looms came in, they destroyed the factories, but then eventually they did, I believe, but there's a whole book on it that I'm gonna find the book next time. I'm gonna kind of refresh my memories on some of the details. But like, one thing, I kind of consider myself a Luddite after reading it, and I love technology, but it's more about being critical about how technology is used and the greater impacts. So there's a lot we can learn, especially in the days of AI and everything, about, you know, what we let into our society and being intentional with our technology. So I think, you know what? I think we just commit to this. Let's Deep Blue this, baby. And, you know, we're coming at the end here. I think it's time to lock this in. I already got some images, and, you know, I know better than to mess around too much in some other concepts. Let's just see where this goes. Worst case scenario, we don't like the direction, we can choose one of the other ones, but I'm thinking this is an Arcade Fire song, and it's going to give us the opportunity to go into some fun sort of adjacent topics next time. So with that, I am going to come back next week. Next week we're going to do our normal time here, the same, like Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific. It's like 9 a.m. in Bali time where I am. We'll be there back again, do a couple hours, maybe designing this Arcade Fire poster. and gonna be in hopefully some good shape by the time we start moving into June, the end of June. So in addition to this, I'm gonna be traveling. So next week is my last week in Bali. After that, I'm gonna be traveling around Portugal. I'll be in Lisbon and Porto and Ericeira. Gonna meet up with some of my Music League pals, go to a couple music festivals. So hopefully I can fit in some fun design time in there. So days might shift a little bit during that time, but we'll be back soon enough. So thanks again for joining me on another episode of Design Machines. I hope you had fun and learned something. Or at least had fun watching me mess around in Illustrator. See you next week. Subscribe if you want to keep up, but I'll keep posting this in the normal channels. Bye.